And so yeah, one of the reasons why I came to USF was because I know it has a lot of history in skating. So like back in the 90s, it's where people call like San Francisco is like the ground zero for skating, especially in they call like the EMB days, which is Embarcadero, which is like right by the ferry building. Like all the pros skaters would go there, and basically that's where everything was documented, because in the 90s that's when like kids start getting hands on their cameras and like mics and stuff like that. Surprisingly, like a lot of skaters that are well known today, they've all have had their roots in San Francisco. One of them being is Mark Gonzalez. For Supreme Clothes is done by Mark Gonzalez, which is technically an SF legend. That's what like they say. He's a legendary dude. He's done tricks on he kickflipped the EMB gap, and even though like there's a lot of spots that have been taken down, like it's still to see. Like there's so many hills, like there's so many spots you could find. Like I live in the Sunset District, and there's not too many like skating videos in the Sunset District, but it still has its legends like Tommy Guerrero. So it's really cool to skate. Like these are the streets that basically formed what skating is now, because back in the 90s, well, before the 90s, it was kind of strictly like vert, transition, pool skating. But then came the 90s, it was more street skating, and then it was a lot of it was in San Francisco. So it was really cool to see to skate like what all these pros have done, being rowdy and shit. Like they're just being kids, like they're just like fucking skate rats. It's cool to see, like even though like I'm not as good as them, like we're just like all hyping each other up, and like we're just throwing our boards around, and like the kids are just throwing themselves down the gap, even though they're not making shit. They're just clapping because they're eating shit. So that's the coolest part. Cool part thing about skate spots, like you could always meet like new people and like new friends, a skate park or skate spots or anything. Like even on the bus, I just talk to dudes who have boards, and like, oh, you skate? Like I just talk to them like, oh, did you see that new video part, whatever? It's like, yeah, then like your board is sick, shit like that. Simple thing. The Thrasher magazine started in San Francisco, so there's a lot of
one story I have was that I saw these two cops walk by, and kind of like you can tell the whole skate park kind of got a little more quiet. It was less rowdy. People were more still, waiting for them to pass. But on the round back, this African American cop came back and like asked to skate, and he did a few tricks, and then suddenly like the whole park was more lively. Like people were like taking like Snapchats, people were like clapping it up, people were saying like gnar stuff, just like yelling, and it was super sick. And after a while, like he got tired and left. But I remember just like the attitude after the park was like way more vibrant, and I thought that was a really cool mixture. Like here's a cop who people are kind of scared of, and he just kind of broke down a barrier by skating.
Halloween weekend, I went to like this art show thing at a skate shop, and not everyone there was skaters. And then which I thought was a little weird, because like who the fuck are these kooks, dude? Like you don't say like, why are you here? But like at the end of the day, it's like it's not just about skating. It's about like skating is skating, but like it can attract a bigger community. And I feel like in the end that's what really matters, is like if it brings people together, it brings people together. And don't worry about like too many like trends or some shit. Just skate.